And hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of the Kent Holste podcast right here on the Kent Holste podcast website and as well as the YouTube channel. I'm so glad that you decided to click this link and hopefully join in the conversation, as today we are going to be talking about cheating. Yes, there's various types of cheating that we're going to discuss, so stay tuned and join in the conversation as we get the Kent Holste podcast rolling. Have you seen the Kent Holste podcast website yet? If you haven't, now's a good time. It's all at www.kentholstepodcast.com. It's more than just podcasts. There's interviews, blogs, sports talk, the corner ropes, circle of friends, and so much more. So what are you waiting for? Check it out today. It's at www.kentholstepodcast.com. Join the community. All right, so welcome to the podcast. If you are a first-time viewer, I thank you for tuning in, clicking that link. And if you are a returning part of the community, thank you so much. I'm glad that you're here. You know, a lot of the time in our life we spend trying to be honest the best that we can through various different types of situations. But unfortunately, there's times where we decide to take the alternate route and we decide to cheat. Whether it be within our relationships, whether it be in our friendships, our jobs, there's situations, unfortunately, where we decide to just make that bad choice. And I think that it's important that we talk about cheating because, you know, there's been plenty of times in my life where I unfortunately made that bad choice of cheating. And the end result has never been a good thing. You know, when you cheat, when you do things that you know is not right and you have to hide, that's a clear sign that you shouldn't be doing it. And I know everybody's listening to this right now going, okay, but this is all common sense. But is it really? When we cheat maybe ourselves out of things, or we cheat within our relationships and we hurt someone, we backstab the people that we claim that we care about. You know, I've been guilty of it. I've made bad choices where I haven't been honest. And I want to make it very, very clear. Just because people do things to you doesn't mean that you jump the gun and retaliate by cheating. And, you know, I think the biggest thing when we hear the word cheating, we do think about relationships. Because that's where we see most of these problems. And the only reason why I want to talk about cheating is because we need to change the way we live our lives with relationships. And I know that there's a lot of people who are fortunate, who are blessed to have people in their lives that, number one, treat each other with respect. There's people out there that communicate. Sometimes communicate so well that it makes other relationships look absolutely ridiculous. But the thing I believe is that there's so many people out there that don't value relationships enough. If you don't respect each other, if you don't care for each other, simply just break up. Why drag through all the emotions and hurt another person just because you're not satisfied and you're not man enough to do the right thing and end it properly? And, you know, for the longest time, I wasn't man enough. I'll admit that. I have no problem admitting that I wasn't man enough. And a lot of it had to do with fear sometimes of what would happen if I did leave. And I think we all go through that. What are we going to lose? Nothing ever good comes from relationships ending. Because in some way, shape, or form, feelings get hurt. Things get said. Things get done in ways to hurt other people. And granted, just like in the other scenario, there's people out there that are fortunate that don't have to deal with that. When they break up, it's all good. They either stay friends, they communicate, everything is all good and well. And then there's some people who deal with the fact that they just want to be cutthroat and brutal to each other. Where it is like World War III, and it's anything goes, and it's just out of hand. The question is, we learn as children, or we grow up being taught in some cases, that we should treat others the way we want to be treated. But yet we don't do that. When we cheat, when we do things to other people, it doesn't make that person look bad that you do it to. You're the one who looks bad. You're the one who chose to make that decision to be unfaithful. Now, why do we do it? 9 times out of 10, relationships happen to fall apart because of cheating, because of the fact that there's not enough quote unquote attention, or they're not getting the type of experience that they first had when they first got together. No one communicates. No one says, hey, why did things change? Did we ever think that communication would probably resolve a lot of these problems? And 9 times out of 10, they don't. But that's when you take the next step. When your relationships have strain, when your relationships have problems, you seek help. You know, I've talked about it before that my biggest downfall in my past relationships is I never looked for help. I never went to a therapist. I never went to talk to a pastor to try to make things work. And granted, sometimes when you put in the effort and you try to make things work and you try to work together as a couple, sometimes it still doesn't work out. Sometimes things are not meant to be. And that's unfortunate, because we all go into our relationships thinking that this is it. This is the best thing that has ever happened. And then at some point, we grow comfortable with each other. We learn each other's comfort levels and our weaknesses. And then either they grow together and they work through it, or they go the wrong route. They cheat. They use their weaknesses against them. All this other stuff. It's all drama. When you cheat, you create drama. So when we come back, we're going to get into the other version of cheating. So stay tuned. Did you know on the Kent Holste podcast website, there's a place for you to buy products that can help you look and feel good? But not only that, live a positive, healthy lifestyle. It's all on the Positive Lifestyle by Holste page on the Kent Holste podcast website. I encourage you to check it out because there's some great products by Q Sciences as well as Herbalife. So check it out today. It's at www.kentholstepodcast.com/positive lifestyles by Holste. All right, so today we're talking about cheating, and I'm sorry if I get a little bit frustrated on certain topics and I may get a little bit rambunctious, but it's just, I've been through this. I've done it. And after looking back, it's not worth it. If you're not happy with scenarios in your life, you have to do the right thing. If you take the easy way out, it's not going to solve anything. It's not going to make things better. The issue is not going to get resolved. It's just going to stay the same. So when we just left the conversation about the cheating as far as relationships and the damages that it can cause. Now, in the comment spot, if you've been in a situation where you've cheated, talk about what that did to you. Did you really feel satisfied? Was it really worth it? And how do you think that other person felt when you did that action? Now, obviously, like I say on every podcast, this isn't a time to bash. I admitted it. I'm not perfect. I did make mistakes and I did cheat, growing up as a kid, and even as an adult, I've made those bad choices. But, I've had the last 3 years to kind of think about what I need to do better to be a better person. And it all comes down to that point. If you have an issue, if you have concerns, you talk about it. You don't hide it. You don't keep it in. You don't act like it doesn't exist. Because the issue is this. When you decide to cheat, when you decide to do that backstab, the ultimate screw job to the person that you're claiming you appreciate and you want to share your life with, and they get backdoored, how do you think they feel? You didn't resolve anything. You made things worse. If you're not happy in the relationship, at least attempt to try to make it work by communicating. And if that doesn't work, then you take the next step by going to a professional and talking and getting that third party in to kind of give you a different insight. Because when you go to a therapist or a pastor, they're not there to take sides. They are the center person to be there to guide you, to give you advice, to give you tips on how to be successful. And if you both choose that there's no way that those things that you can put forth to work on it and make it better are going to be possible, then that's when you know to back away. It saves the heartache. It saves the pain. It saves the embarrassment that you cause to yourself by making this horrible choice of abusing the trust that people have in you. Now, I said that I've been cheated on. I said that I've done it myself. Which is worse? It doesn't matter. It's both one and the same. They're both situations that are not easy to cope with. Because let's face it, as much as you feel good when you're doing things that you know you shouldn't be and you go behind the other person's back, eventually you're going to feel remorse. So save yourself the pain, the drama, the suffering, the backlash, and just be honest. If you're not happy, fix it. And if it can't be fixed, then change it. But if you don't respect that the person that you're with has feelings, has emotions, and they deserve to be treated well, if you're not going to treat them well, let somebody else. Simple as that. Because I know what it's like to be cheated on. At one point, I was a very honest and caring person when I was growing up. But in the world of dating as a teenager and as a kid, you don't know what relationships are truly about. You don't know what respect is. And when you go through breakups and there's people that decide to be not faithful to you, yeah, it affects you. And a lot of my relationships growing up were that fact that I was being cheated on. I dated a girl once that I dated 10 times. I'm not kidding you. 10 times. And I kept going back to her. Why? I have no idea. Because maybe I felt like things could change. And I've always been that person that has been willing to trust people maybe more than I should. But that just shows you who I am. I don't judge. I don't base faults on people on whether I'm going to continue being friends or in a relationship with certain people. That's just not who I am. I try to be as kind and respectful as I can, but back in the day, if I got burnt, I would definitely let you know. And that's all part of the feeling of being hurt. And that got to the point that I got cheated on and mistreated so many times that I started cheating. It was a ripple effect. I figured to myself, if I'm going to get cheated on every relationship, I might as well just cheat myself. I might as well beat him to the game so I don't get hurt. But in reality, is that the case? No, I would be hurt anyways, regardless. But me doing those things didn't solve anything, didn't change anything. It didn't do me a favor. I hurt myself by feeding into the negativity. But it also had to do with the people that I chose to go for as well. And it's a well-known fact that I haven't had the best of luck choosing people in my life. And it's because I don't judge people. And maybe that's my downfall, is I need to start judging people a little bit more strictly. But then, in my mind, if I do that, then I'm just going to be in every other category as all the other people who don't care, who do judge people. I don't like to judge a book by its cover. Never have. I've always given people a fair chance, and that's just how I was raised. Not to judge people. And I just never did it. So I just wanted to say that, and I know I got off course there, but let's get into this next part of the conversating. Conversating is what we're doing, but the conversation of cheating. We talked about relationships. Now let's move into the form of cheating when it comes to our job. You know, when I think about jobs, sometimes the tasks that we receive are just a little bit too much. Sometimes the things that we do within our job life, I think school as a job. I always thought of it like that. Because just like in a normal job, you learn the tricks of the trade, per se, right? So in school, to me, it was a job because I had a requirement to do. And if I didn't finish it, I would have to retake it, or if I don't do what's expected, they could also kick you out. That's just like a job. If you don't do what is expected or you don't do what they ask, they might let you go. So it prepares you for life. It's a job to me. That's what I think. So, back in school, I didn't always make good choices. And I think that's also a well-known fact. I didn't always do things the right way. I looked for the easy way out. I didn't like school, mostly because I got picked on. But I also didn't like school because I didn't like to take the time to put forth the work that was required. A lot of the times acted like I wasn't capable of doing things just so I could get out of things. Or, I would take the easy route and I would cheat. And unfortunately, there was times where I did cheat and I didn't get caught. And as an adult now, I wish that I did, because I didn't learn anything. I didn't do me a favor by doing that. I made things worse. And, what's funny, as a kid, you think the things that you learn, you won't utilize later on in your life. Boy, is that a bad thought. because that is not the truth. The truth is, everything that they teach you, you will use in your life. You will talk about later on in your life. And the fact that I didn't take it seriously and I cheated myself out of a good education, boy, that was a big mistake. But you know what, though? If I didn't do that, I wouldn't know what I do now. Because it gave me an alternate look at life. Was it wrong? Yes. But did I learn a lesson from that? Absolutely. So when my kids talk to me about not liking school, not liking homework, it gives me an opportunity to tell them to work hard. Don't cheat yourself out of the education that you are getting. Because it may seem tough. It may seem pointless at times. But when you become older and you become a parent, you'll realize just how important it is. Especially when you go into jobs. It makes a big difference. You know, maybe if I would have taken school more seriously and I didn't cheat myself out of a good education, maybe my work situations that I went through would have been differently. Maybe I could have had better jobs. Maybe I would have stayed at jobs longer. But I didn't. I cheated myself out of it. There's so many jobs that I worked at within my life. I worked at multiple fast food restaurants. I've worked at multiple different retail shopping places. I've pretty much done it all. Did I cheat myself by leaving these jobs without notice? Did I cheat myself out of leaving a job without another job lined up? Absolutely. That's cheating. Cheating yourself out of things that you don't realize are important until you have a bill come up, your cell phone bill is due, it's about to be turned off, and you could have been working. Your car broke down. You had a flat tire and you had to get a new one. Did you have the money? Nope. Did you have to borrow money? Absolutely. Did that make you feel good? No. Did you cheat yourself out of a good situation by leaving that job? Yes. Did you cheat others out of situations because of that? Yes, because I had to ask for help. I had to get money that I didn't need to take from them because I could have kept my job. So I cheated others. I took advantage of others. Bet you didn't think of it like that, did you? So, in the comment spot below, have you ever been in these scenarios where in school, in your work life, did you cheat yourself? Did you cheat others? I bet you have, in some way, shape, or form. It doesn't matter if the cheating is just a small fragment of a situation. You're still doing yourself a disfavor, and you're doing others a disfavor because of your insecurity. To know that you can do better. And it all comes down to the fact that we don't push ourselves enough. We don't do the best that we can to create good situations. When hard times come, we don't want to put in the effort. When situations that we don't approve of happen, we try to get out of it by cheating. And that doesn't do anything good. So think about that. Talk about it. Let's figure it out. What can we do better when it comes to our jobs, when it comes to school, to make sure that we're putting in the full effort, that we're not trying to cheat ourselves out of our grades, maybe doing us a disfavor on other things that happen as far as our relationships within our jobs. And what did that cause? It didn't do anything good, did it? So let's talk about it. And when we come back, we'll keep going on this conversation of cheating. Hey everyone, I just want to take this time to thank you for tuning in to today's show. Without your support and watching these videos, this podcast wouldn't be where it's at today. And the same goes for the website as well, and the YouTube channel. So to help me out even more, if you haven't done so yet, please like, share, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And don't forget to ring that bell so you can be notified when a new, amazing content comes out. Also, don't forget to check out all the other social media sites as well, and like, share, and comment, and subscribe there too. It all is being a part of this community where we can come together and show that we care for one another so we can motivate and encourage others. So thanks again for tuning in, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of the show. You know, I just feel like I did so many things wrong within my life. You know, I cheated and did things to people that I shouldn't have. There's people that were perfectly fine, and I wanted to point the blame on them. Why I wasn't satisfied, why I didn't think I was getting the respect or the care that I deserved. It was me that was the problem. And there's many times where I think now that maybe I should have not thought about dating or been in relationships because I wasn't mature enough. And I feel bad because I think about, you know, because of how I acted, how did that affect these people? Maybe they were so affected by the actions that I did that they had issues going forward in their life. And that makes me feel bad if that's the case. Because when we do these actions, we don't really think about the consequences. When we act on these times of not being faithful and honest, we don't realize what it's going to do for our future. Because in that moment, we're thinking of the selfish things that we want, the selfish things we want to do, because what other people think and feel at that moment flat out don't matter. And that's wrong. We shouldn't feel that way. Everybody's feelings and thoughts matter, regardless how big and small. No matter how crazy it seems, it matters. We go through these things because of unhappiness and dissatisfaction. It's as simple as that. And it's ridiculous that we don't think about what we do. We cheat on our relationships because we feel the lack of affection. We cheat ourselves out of a good education because we doubt our abilities that we can do it. We cheat because we feel guilty that maybe that we aren't the best. So we have to put up a fake front. We have to cheat ourselves out of being who we are, who we really are. It's a proven fact that when we cheat, we feel guilty and express that guilt later on. So why do we even do it in the first place? Why can't we just be honest? Why can't we just do things the right way the first time? You know, my parents said that to me all the time growing up. If you want to do things right, do it right the first time. And it's funny, we don't realize these things until it's too late. Sometimes we just act on things and do things without even realizing that we cheated. We cheated ourselves out of our relationship. We cheated ourselves out of the things that, quite frankly, could have been good. Sometimes all it takes is communication. So as you go on with your day or your night, think about the things that you've maybe cheated yourself out of. Think about how you can change that going forward. How can you make sure that you're taking up every opportunity the best that you can? And how can you make sure within your relationships that you're not doing anything that could jeopardize it? If you're not happy, find a way to be happy. Because in all reality, do we get into our relationships for no reason? Do we choose to commit to someone just because? So why change? All these excuses of, well, I just don't feel the chemistry anymore. Oh, they've changed. Oh, I just have this sense that they're not being honest. The other thing that happens because of cheating is people that assume. People who don't even take the time to invest finding out from the source. They automatically want to think the worst. What does that solve? Are they doing anything good by doing that? Or are they cheating themselves out of a good opportunity to know the truth? To know that they can possibly fix their insecurity? Don't cheat yourself out of good things in your life. Don't cheat your way through life. Because if you are cheating your way through life, you're not going to go far. And the end result is when you cheat, that follows you. When you cheat, it just doesn't go away. It's there forever. And I think a lot of the things why people didn't like me as much when I was growing up is because of the fact that I wasn't a very honest person, that I wasn't keeping my word when it came to being with one person and one person only. I made some very reckless, bad decisions. And it was all because of fear that, I was going to get hurt, so I might as well just do it anyways. What good did that do? Absolutely nothing. Not only did I lose that relationship, but 9 times out of 10, I lost that as a friendship as well. Are the people talking to me now that I did those actions to? Most of them, no. But a lot of them forgave me. Did I deserve that forgiveness? I think everybody deserves forgiveness. I think that everybody deserves a chance to redeem themselves. But in most cases, for me at least, sometimes I feel like I didn't deserve that forgiveness. I didn't deserve their friendship still after what I did. But it shows you the character of those people who chose not to cheat themselves out of a friend. Yes, I may have been a jerk. And sometimes, quite frankly, I was a complete dick. All right? I'll admit that. But regardless, there was those people who chose to still be a friend. Because maybe they knew that something just wasn't right. And they knew that I needed a friend. Maybe they knew that, this is just who he is right now. It's just a stage. Maybe eventually he'll grow the F up, right? Well, it took 30 some years of my life to grow the F up, right? And now, here I am. And it sucks. Because of all the things that I've done, I have to live with. Those are scars that will never, ever heal. So if you're listening to this today thinking you're just a horrible liar and you couldn't get what you were trying to accomplish done, and I'm a good liar, I wouldn't get to that point. No one will catch me. That's a lie in itself. You're cheating yourself out of a life that could be filled in a different way. If you think that lying and cheating is the way to get through life, you got another thing coming. Because trust me, I lived most of my teenage life thinking that lying and cheating and stealing was the way to get what you want. And try to get through life the way that you could get whatever you want without any repercussions. But guess what? That was wrong. The repercussions of it was the fact that I have to deal with that past. I have to deal with that guilt. And yes, there's going to be those people that will forgive and forget for what I've done. And that's awesome, and I appreciate it. But it's those that won't forgive and won't forget that is the problem to me. Because they look at me as that immature person. And they think that saying is true, that once a cheater, always a cheater. I don't believe in that. Because people can change. People can realize that they're being completely stupid. That they're thinking the wrong way. They're not thinking before they act. The only thing that they're doing is creating damage that will last a lifetime. But it doesn't mean it's the end, and it doesn't mean that it can't be fixed. Anything is repairable. It's sad that people think that we are like how products are today. Things back when I was a kid were able to be fixed and they could last forever. Now we live in a generation where if it breaks, we just throw it away. And unfortunately, just like that example, that's how we think people are. We think if people are broken, we just get rid of it. We 86 them. We treat them like they don't exist. We think that because people make mistakes, that they are unforgivable. We look at the news and we look at these people who do very, very heinous acts and do crimes that potentially change the outcome of their life forever. And there's people that are willing to forgive for their mistakes. The fact that they've cheated themselves of a life that they could do so much better. They cheat themselves out of that. But yet there's people out there that put that aside. Yes, they feel bad for them. Yes, they may hold some anger towards them, but they don't let that show. There's people that do forgive. And we need to be more like that. Yes, we may do things where we cheat. We hurt people around us. But that doesn't mean that we should forever look at them as bad people. We should look more deep as to why they did that. Could it have been fixed? Maybe not back then, but maybe it can be now. We need to look harder and more deeper into our scenarios so we can prevent these times from happening. So let's do that by talking about it in the comment spot. Because there's no better place for us to be a community and to figure out our problems and how to work them out and how to use better tools in our life to be successful. So let's do that today. And as always, think and be positive. Do what you can today, not what you can't, to stop cheating and stop cheating yourself out of things in your life. Because I believe in you. Don't you think you should too? This is your time to make an impact in your life. This is the time to start making changes. Let's look at it this way. We are moving in to this season of spring. New life. The grass is turning green. Flowers are growing. The trees are starting to bloom and bud with new leaves and fruits and all that amazing things that's created. So let's take this time for new growth and new beginnings to work on ourselves to become better, stronger, more confident people. We can do that by being this community right here. We can do that by being honest with our feelings and our emotions, which we talked about on a prior podcast. But the more we cheat ourselves out of a life that we can look back on and go, I did everything the way that it should have been, the more we are living a life of a lie. No one deserves that. So let's fix it. Let's be good people. Let's be more understanding and willing to listen, to understand, to forgive and to forget. And rebuild the friendships and the bonds that once stood firm and strong. Let's do that today. And if you see someone who served our country, whether it be military, police, fire, or even those hardworking medical staff people, please take the time to give them an elbow, give them a fist bump, tell them how much you appreciate them. You never know how much they might appreciate that one random act of kindness. So do that today. And until the next time we talk, please be safe. And I hope to talk to you guys again real soon. God bless.